Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show. It is Michelle Bryant here, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. You are listening to Say Something Real. And let me just say, busy day today. Just so folks know, just to give you an idea of the flow of the show today, 8 o'clock hour, I'm expecting Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley in to talk about a new announcement that just was put out a couple of days ago and a call for public engagement and community involvement regarding a future state project. So stay tuned for that in the 8 o'clock hour. Try to work in as many things as I can this morning. Before we get to the guests, let me start by saying good morning to the brothers in the studio. What's up, 29 layers? How you doing this morning?
Well,
Cold.
sometimes
What you say?
He cold.
sometimes you got to be like an onion and have
Hoodie,
layers.
skull cap,
Yeah, you gotta
jacket,
have layers.
sweatshirt.
Yeah,
You know,
then had a nerve to turn on the fan.
yeah.
Hey,
And you know what?
you gotta meet in the middle.
So y'all, we go through a constant battle in this studio. Hot, cold, hot, cold.
Lukewarm.
And Jermaine did got the big house fan up in here blowing on, oscillating in the room. And so my toes be freezing. Like, here we go. And then TC came in, one of our other colleagues at the station. She came in, she said, well, if you ain't have on 29 sweatshirts, you might not be hot.
Well, I tell you
I
what.
promise you, I look at you every day and all that foolishness,
Yeah.
and it never dawned on me. This cat got all 2, 3, 4
You
layers.
don't know how to dress. Now,
It
underneath
never
this-
dawned on me. It's another set of eyes.
but I'm saying,
I look
underneath
at
all
you
of this,
every day.
underneath this,
But
I
she
got on
right.
summer gear.
You got on a
So I
fan
don't know how to
with a
dress
skull
tomorrow.
cap on, the hoodie on. She was so right, man.
I don't know how to dress.
I can't
tomorrow.
believe I missed that.
Look at this foolishness.
I'm just saying. I don't know if I'm supposed to wear headbands, shorts,
No,
snowsuit, earmuffs. I mean, this whether it be
y'all
90
see
degrees
him for
one
folks
day,
on Facebook.
20
and
degrees another
YouTube.
day. I
Hey,
don't
wait,
know.
Michelle.
Yes.
He has an outer coat that goes over that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
See, because
she
I need
was so
that to
right.
protect this right
you,
here.
you know what? I'm just mad. I was slow on that. I
know?
missed that. She was like, if you didn't have on 29 layers,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Just
gonna be
imagine
warm.
all of this, and then he turns on the fan.
yeah.
It's hot in here. It's hot in here.
that's like people. And
I do that too.
yeah, they had their covers pulled
I
all the
do
way
that.
up and had a fan on in their room,
Yeah.
or had a ceiling fan
Ceiling
on,
fan on.
AC.
I got
Yeah,
the fan in the window.
yeah. It's see you.
No,
quiet,
no,
man.
no, no. I got it in the window, but it's turned backwards because turning it backwards, it pull the air inside out. So it kind of works as
Your heat must be included.
no. I just know how to set it.
You don't blow out all
That
the
is
heat.
cool. No,
Why is you blowing the heat out your
I'm
house?
not blowing the heat out. It's just to keep it from getting stuffy. Like this room here, you gotta have some type
Here.
of ventilation. Yeah.
Here, Memphis. Is that right? Here.
I'm just saying.
Country stuff.
But you know what? Before you move on to who,
Who is who?
before you move
Who
on,
is who?
uh,
You got
people
your
over
question?
here. You know it is Question Wednesday.
It's question.
Somebody
Wednesday.
asked a question.
Not, I keep saying they didn't, but
Oh.
go ahead. go ahead.
Well, this one is
I'm ready
a
for
real
it today,
simple
too.
one. This one is real simple.
And I did hear from the hearing impaired community about your nonsense yesterday.
I didn't hear yesterday's.
Oh, you didn't hear
No,
it?
What was yesterday's?
You wanna-
question?
Well, you regurgitate
Yesterday's
that.
gone, sweet Jesus.
And tomorrow may never be. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard from some differently abled people who didn't find this little joke funny at
So
all.
they heard it?
Somebody told them about it. They read about it.
They signed it to him.
Oh,
They read your lips.
so my question is, if women are always right,
You already asked that question.
this is different. I'll put a spin on this one. Why do they always pick the wrong guys? Boom, I'm done. I'm answering the phone.
But they don't always pick the wrong guy.
If women are always right, why do they always pick the wrong guy? I mean, statistically, most women don't pick the wrong guy. They don't.
Are you sure?
Or they picked the right guy,
and he do wrong.
and then he flipped the script.
Then that's
Because
the wrong guy.
people
Aha.
talk about most often when you meeting people, you meeting a representative.
Okay.
You're not meeting the real them.
Okay.
You fall in love with the representative.
Okay.
Then you get this cat home.
I'd be like, who is this dude?
Like, I'm sorry, what just happened?
Mm.
So yeah, I think that, in defense of sisters, bruh show up with representatives.
You know what?
Nah.
That is true. So that made me think. So now I gotta ask you this question. So we
What?
move on to Debo.
What? Well, thank you. What?
If we are taught not to talk to strangers,
Yeah.
how are we supposed to make friends? Boom! This boy on the roll. Somebody stop me.
Are you? You know what? I'm just gonna move on. I have no
Somebody,
answer.
I don't know.
Michelle, I'm fine. And thank you for asking.
See, you have stolen
There
Debo's joy.
No, there's certainly a need to explain to the public what happens here. We get a kickback from the federal government for keeping Jermaine on staff. He's definitely impaired.
You said he get a kickback.
Yeah, they pay us for him to work here. So
Like, take him,
yeah,
please.
that's why he remains here. Every little bit helps. So
So, are you telling people we actually get paid?
Yeah, we get paid for him to be here.
Okay.
I wish I was
Disabled
a Big C.
Association of America's Disabled and Dysfunctional Association.
All right. Well, I mean,
Oh,
we
see.
we just gotta do what we gotta do to keep the doors open. So
Right,
Jermaine,
right.
we happy to have you.
No, well,
Happy to have you, bro.
in reality, y'all really don't know that
Uh-oh.
that
Uh-oh.
Debo that Debo belly button is really on the side of his belly and it's tied upside
Jermaine,
down.
why?
So that's why.
Why?
That's why that we getting the
You know
funding.
why, dude?
I'm saying that's why we getting funding because his
what I
belly
tell
button
you-
on
what
the
I-
side.
What I tell you all the time. I tell you this all the
I'm
time.
saying.
All the time.
Okay, man, I'm a bag out. Okay, I'm turning my mic off.
I get tired of y'all.
I'm turning my mic off.
I get tired of y'all.
What does that sweatshirt say?
Who?
Yours.
Uncle Bobby's. It is a black-owned bookstore. Mark Lamont Hill has a black-owned bookstore in Philly. It's called Uncle Bobby's. I think it says coffee and books.
Like my whole favorite uncle in the whole wide world, who I lost during COVID. I named my man cave after this Uncle Bobby's hideout, and your sweatshirt was like, I seen Uncle Bobby's, I didn't see the rest.
Okay.
So I'd like to have one of those. Just figure out how we can get one. And
Yeah. You can. I think you can order them online because
Okay.
I bought it when I was there. I think was it last year? Because I went to the. I was gifted for Christmas a stay at the black-owned bed and breakfast.
Mhm.
And just made a whole weekend of it. And we had Mark Lamont Hill on the station during the political season.
Mhm.
And I knew about his bookstore. So I was like, oh, for sure. When I go to Philly, I'm going to his bookstore. Had an amazing time, brought back all kinds of books. Just really, really cool vibe in there. So, yep, that's what it is.
Oh, and quickly, did you see the video from the buffoonery up on the corner yesterday?
You know what? Were you all here?
Yes.
Because I was trying to, because I didn't see it until much later. People had sent it to me, but I didn't see it because
the bus that they hit 3 times.
they hit a bus.
Hit a bus.
Yeah, the driver was like, they hit the bus 3 times. He parked right here in front of the station. We couldn't figure out why the bus was sitting there. So when we go outside,
So the bus
then-
was blocking y'all view kind of then.
no. The
You can
bus
see?
was
Bus
here.
pulled right here.
It was in the intersection down there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd never seen nothing like it, and then Biko sent me the video of it, and I shared it with Jermaine and different ones, but still haven't figured out what that totally was. Jermaine was trying to tell me something about somebody.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
just so
it was
people know
29,000 views.
that there was a altercation that went on out here in the intersection of Teutonia and Capitol Drive.
Mhm.
And by the time I see the video, a car is just driving around in a circular pattern. Guy is in it. People are trying to pull him out of the car. People were saying they were fighting, but this car is steadily turning, like basically doing slow donuts in the middle of the street. Bumper falling off. The car clearly is damaged. And then ultimately they did pull that guy out of that car. Which
and it was a Lexus too.
Yeah, I couldn't tell, but
Yeah.
I heard
It was
that.
what was left of it.
Yeah, well, it was a Lexus.
But I never could fully get like if he had stolen the car, he took the car from his girl.
Because I couldn't figure out why
because
why
they
he
didn't try to
only
get
going in
him when he
circles?
left the car.
No, he ran off.
Yeah, he just ran off, and I would think like nobody really after all of that to try to get this car. And then I'm looking at the way the car is being tore up in the process, and I'm like, well, damn, if you got insurance, let it go. Like you out here in the middle of the street, potentially could get hit somebody else.
Did you see how they were hanging on to that car?
Yeah, hanging on.
If he'd have fallen off that car, he was gonna get rolled over because the car just going in circles.
Yeah, somebody said maybe he was in the days. No, he wasn't in no damn days. No. He had taken that car and clearly he had. I don't know if it was stolen or took it without the owner's permission, whatever the drama that was. But he got out after they, like mollywopped him up inside of it. He gets out and runs on away, scurries away. And I'm like, well, what did y'all think was happening that was so serious? Because I don't know how they don't, and I don't know if the police ever showed up.
Oh yeah, they were here.
How do you not even get tickets for what was going on out there?
I'm sure it was
because
something issue because
they should have been ticketed for helping to you. I mean, they hit the bus. That's how the bumper got towed up.
Yeah, they hit the bus 3 times.
They hit the bus 3
times.
They
hit the city bus 3 times going in circles.
3 times. So
I had to pull everybody off of the bus and put them on a whole nother.
All the passengers off the bus was standing here, and they sent another bus. Well, I'm sure it was probably coming down the route anyway, but those people end up getting on the next bus. But that bus sat here in front of the station for over an hour.
That is madness. Yeah. So I'm looking at the people that was like trying to get, even if your car was stolen, even if you were, rightfully trying to get your property back, y'all created a whole unsafe situation out here in the middle of that intersection. All you Negroes should be getting in trouble. I mean, everybody should get in trouble.
You should have saw it. They look crazy. I'm looking now.
Who look crazy? The people?
Yeah, they looked crazy.
Well, the video is a hot mess. Yeah, because several people ended up sending me the video. And I'm like, what kind of TMZ nonsense? I done missed the whole drama. And then I said, that's right outside the station.
But what was crazy was they was fighting to get in the car. Who wants to get in the car? Do you see the chick jump in?
Yeah.
But it looked like they was fighting to get in to get him
out of the car.
To get him out of the car. Somebody said, what about the girl that got in the back seat? Right, I mean, the whole thing was buck wild. Yeah. Like I said, it looked like it was
cloud.
You stole the car. It was your girl's car because he was a young cat that got out of it. You took your girl's car and then her people was trying to help her get it back. It just looked wild. But all of them created an unsafe situation. Excuse me, in which anybody could have got hurt.
I totally agree.
People ride through the intersection. You don't know this is going on, and you get up on this foolishness. So, I ended up seeing it. I'm glad you brought it up because I forgot about it just that quick. But I did see the video last night. I said, now I wondered did it happen while they were still at the station.
Oh yeah,
so y'all saw it. Yeah, man, the stuff that go on Capitol.
Well, I tell you,
the bus driver was like, man, I couldn't have made this up.
Yeah, he ain't lying either. He ain't lying.
Yeah, Milwaukee is buck wild. We do have our moments. All right, let me hit this before I take a break. I talk about all the time. Okay, it's hot in here.
No. No. It is. If you didn't have on them 93 sweaters and that 23.
The heat is set at 67.
Okay, it's hot. I don't know what's going on, but I'm hot
now. It feels good in here.
You know what?
You don't need no air.
I need the fan.
No, you don't need no air. No. All the air is gonna be on me.
Jermaine, turn the fan out.
I'm gonna have maintenance covered. We're gonna move the thermostat over there by you, Michelle.
I turned it
as needed.
Maybe it's the lights. All of a sudden, I got super hot.
No, y'all didn't believe me.
Okay.
Y'all didn't believe me.
Okay, whatever.
I guess fat meat really ain't greasy.
Maybe it's a personal summer.
Oh, really? I knew you was gonna do that. I knew it was coming.
They have them all the time.
Yeah. I don't have time for y'all. So, I talk about frequently about the power of, the responsibility of sitting behind these microphones. and appreciating that what you say can inspire people to move. It can create controversy and drama. You can use it as a bully pulpit. There's a lot that goes with sitting behind the microphone. And there are people that, if you are not careful, you can be irresponsible and you can do things that put people in harm's way. So I hadn't talked about it, but a local talk radio host here in the Milwaukee market, Dan O'Donnell, who is over at WISN 11:30 a.m. He on his social media account on fake Twitter, he posted something, and this is coming off of the mission in which the Ayatollah is killed over in Iran. And conservative, and I'm looking at the Journal Sentinel story, conservative radio host in Milwaukee called for someone to, quote, now take out the governor of Minnesota. So more specifically, in the post that he put up on March 1st, it says, now take out the supreme leader of Minnesota. We will be greeted as liberators. He then replied to the tweet with an AI photo of Minnesota Governor Tim Walz wearing a black turban with the phrase, death to fraud investigations, in quotes. Now, I just want to say, his blank ought to be fired. He ought to be fired. He ought to be fired. Why in the world would you use your medium? Now, granted, he didn't say it on the show, but he does have a following in large part because of his show. And you literally call for someone to be killed because of welfare fraud that they personally did not commit, that they have been vigorously working with the attorney general to get prosecuted, but it's welfare fraud. It's not the equivalent of somebody who is taking away civil rights and harming individuals and taking away freedoms. It's not the same thing in any way, shape, or form. So to be so ignorant and irresponsible with the platform that you would call for somebody to be killed, I don't give a damn if it was even in joking or jest. Why would you do that? Why would you do it? And then you put him in a black turban. That's racist too. So you called for somebody to take out the Minnesota governor. And it's not like we haven't seen crazy stuff like people thinking they were going to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer over in Michigan and then bring her to Wisconsin. The fools that had concocted that nonsense. But why would you do this, man? People go too far. This whole frenzy around everybody wanting to prove they a tough guy. I could hear Keon in my head, and I never could remember the exact way he used to say this phrase, but he would talk about paper bosses and paper champs. You tough and Billy Bad behind a computer, behind the mic, on paper. You gonna do da 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 da. But somebody catch you out here in these streets, it's a different ball game. This was so out of order. And so he took it down. And then he I think they said he did an apology. But I'm looking at the radio station like, is he gonna be suspended? Is anything gonna happen to this dude? Because people get fired every day in their companies for stuff that they post on social media. They get fired every day for that. This man been in the game long enough. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew it was wrong. He knew it was irresponsible, and he posted it anyway. And then you go out of your way to come up with the clip art to be able to show the Minnesota governor, looking like a member of the Taliban or something. Yes.
Should they be able to take your personal posts on your personal page?
People do it every day. Companies do it every day. That's why we talk to people all the time about monitoring and paying attention to what you post on your personal accounts on social media. People get fired every day for saying racist stuff on their posts. They get back to work. Your behavior, even though you didn't happen at work, this is not what we want associated with our organization, and you got to go. People do it every day. Okay. Every day. That's why I'm conscientious about what I post. I see some of my friends have stuff on their page. I will text them, or I will pick up the phone and call them, take that mess down.
So a lot of what Scott Walker did when the unions and all of that went away, what do they call us? We are at some kind of work state or something like that. What is it called?
At will state in terms of employment.
Right. So they could fire you for no reason.
Yeah, they don't need a reason. They don't have to tell you nothing but, Michelle, I've appreciated your services. And but next week, Friday is your last day. Okay. And they don't have to give me now if I suspect some untoward crazy went on in the background and I can prove it, that's something different.
Right.
But no, they can let you go anytime for no cause.
At will, at something.
Yep, it's an at will employment state, meaning that these employers employ you at their will and they can let you go. They don't have to keep you. But this man has been in this game long enough. He's old enough. He's seen enough to know that what he did was irresponsible and reckless. And then you think about, and I like the fact that the Journal Sentinel mentions it, Minnesota is also the state where a 57-year-old man is accused of shooting and killing a former House Speaker and her husband and injuring another lawmaker and his wife. There are crazy people out here that's listening. There are people that are mentally impacted that are listening. There are people that are looking for an excuse and a reason and encouragement to do silly and crazy and potentially deadly things. Mm-hmm. He knew better.
Don't need much motivation.
He knew better. And so you put, the Minnesota governor in a black, one of those hats that look like, I said, like the Afghanistan or the Taliban. Yeah. And I'm just like, no, you have to do something for real. You have to do something for real. And so, and then they, go on to say he is often critical of journalists and played a major role in amplifying political posts from a Milwaukee meteorologist back in January, which led to her dismissal from the station. So he goes after other, people. Mm-hmm. And he, went so hard on whatever this Milwaukee meteorologist said that she gets let go. But when the same thing gonna happen to him? Oh no, it wasn't a woman; it was a man. I'm saying sexist now because most of the meteorologists, the weather people. But anyway, Sam Cuffle, he criticized Elon Musk's arm gesture, which it did look like a damn Nazi salute, and he criticized that. The station lets him go. Channel 58 let him go. So 11:30 a.m., why don't y'all do the damn right thing? Because what he did was out of order. And it at the very least, an unpaid suspension. But he really needs to be let go because you are publicly calling for someone to be killed. Mm-hmm. And you can't just sit up and say, oh, I was just kidding. I was just frustrated. I was just joking. When we know, particularly in Minnesota, that the tensions are heightened and that people have done this. So I'm just saying.
You pinging off the hook over there, ain't you?
Yeah, people trying to hit me up. But what, Sam? Is Sam a woman? Because I don't watch CBS 58. Okay, I have to go back and look. Yeah. Oh, Sam. It is one. I thought so. And then for some reason I said, well, maybe not. Okay, because I don't watch CBS 58 like that.
Samantha.
Samantha. There it is. Now I got it. But I wasn't sure for a second. Yeah, there she go. Okay, I know who that child is. So, I just want to make sure that I flagged that because I thought it was out of order. And I'm waiting on a serious response from that radio station about what you do with an employee who is on their personal time publicly calling for somebody to be assassinated and or killed. I mean, and or killed. That's stupid. To be assassinated. What do you do about that? Because let me be sitting over here calling for Donald Trump to be killed and see what happened to me. Or any other major leader. Let me see what happened to me. So 11:30, y'all need to do the right thing. He needs to be gone. That needs to be said. Let me take a break. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. We'll be right back. All right, family. Before our guest gets here, let me take a second and leave the city for a minute and drop down in Texas, where they had primaries on yesterday for races that are some of them high profile, could have public national implications. The U.S. Senate seat that Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett was competing for alongside State Representative James Talrico. That was one of the races people were watching on the Republican side of the aisle. They were watching John Cornyn's race and Ken Paxton and what was going to happen over there. And you have a Black Republican who ends up being a spoiler in that race, who denies either candidate 50% or better of the vote. And in the state of Texas, during that primary, if you don't get 50% of the vote, those candidates move forward. So there's another election that's going to happen in May, in which these folks are going to square off on the Republican side of the aisle. But in the Talarico and Crockett race, it was pretty tense yesterday as people were getting word that folks were showing up at county wide voting locations only to be told that the rules had been changed and that they needed to go to precincts or polling sites in their districts, in their neighborhoods, or near kind of like what we do in the early voting phase. You can vote at a centralized location, but then when we get into the regular aspect of voting for those primary and general elections, you go to your polling site. Only during early voting do we have centralized locations. And that's when you hear me saying you can go down to City Hall, you can go up here off of 60 something Capitol, you can go to the library. Those were centralized locations. So Texas Republicans make a decision. They talk about this back in January that they're looking at doing this. I don't know exactly when the law, the policy changes, things pass, and how much time people had to try to notify voters that, hey, we are not going to be voting at a centralized location. You got to figure out now where you're voting, and it's in a more centralized, and it's in a more district specific area. So people showed up to vote and they were turned away. It happened in Dallas County, which is Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett's home state. So a lot of people were concerned that there were shenanigans that were in place to be able to do um, something to impact Jasmine's ability to win this election. The Congresswoman blew the doors off in Houston, and she should have been on track to do the same in Dallas. I have not gotten the hard numbers yet on her performance in Dallas County. She ended up having to go to a local court to ask them to extend the polling location hours until 9 p.m. because there were people who had been turned away and they were trying to tell people you can come back and vote. A lower county court gave her that option and said leave the polls open to 9. It was appealed, or someone else reached out to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court made a decision to reverse what that other court had done, and so those votes were not counted. Now, some people have said that they don't know exactly how many ballots that was. When I went to bed last night, Talrico was up by 85,000 votes, with 61% reporting in terms of Dallas having not come in. At the end of the day, I think he ends up with 53% of the vote. Crockett ends up with 47% of the vote. But make no mistake, issues and questions of voter suppression were real. And so while this is unfolding, as I'm sitting there, one of the things that I'm saying, like a lot of people that's watching this are saying, if this goes badly for Crockett, And people believe that there were efforts at voter suppression. A couple of things. So, depending on how Talrico talks about it, whether he was quiet during the whole time the concerns were being raised, because ultimately they realize it's going to benefit him. Black voters are paying attention. Black voters were watching. And even if they say, but this is something that the Republicans manufactured, how the Democrats, white Democrats, handle the voter suppression tactics that were done in Dallas County, if it's not handled well, when it's time for the head-to-head matchup for that Senate race, you potentially see black voters stay home. You potentially see black voters who are irritated with everybody say, you know what, y'all figure it out, because we get screwed over no matter who's in office. Like, literally, what happens in these next couple of days is going to be critical to the ability of Democrats to flip that Texas Senate seat. It's going to be critical. And as they talked about, Hispanic voters showed up for Talarico. Some of the people, this is what political pundits said. I didn't hear it directly from any Latino voters that may have been interviewed on their way, for exit polling interviews. But Jasmine Crockett had made a comment about if Hispanic and Latino people were voting for Donald Trump, it was a slave mentality. And, we played the tape of the Hispanic Latino group that was, we'll vote for Donald Trump. We'll vote, that whole thing. And then one of the band members ends up being deported. And there are people, that have looked at, like many people in the Hispanic Latino community, like a lot of the policies that these people have put in place are intended to directly harm your community. And we do know, though, nobody's a monolith. And so I saw interviews where Hispanic Latino people talked about, yeah, I came here as an illegal. We opened a business. We did this. We da-da-da. And we eventually obtained our citizenship. But we don't think these other illegals should be able to come in. I've literally watched this play out in interviews on television. And I'm just sitting here with my mouth wide open, jaw dropped, like, I'm sorry, what did you just say? So you came that way, Clarence Thomas. Now you want to shut the door behind you? So I'm just saying a couple of things. I listened to some of the exit polling or some of the pre-polling before people voted. Jasmine is a fighter, but Talarico is talking about Jesus and love, and we gonna get to a better place, and his delivery was this, and Jasmine, she is a firebrand, and we know she's smart, and we know she's capable, but Talarico is more electable, and it looks like more Hispanics gonna get behind Talarico. And you just sit there and you just shake your head. You do. I eventually, at some point, I just turned it off, because you just shake your head. The conversation that I had with Meech yesterday, I got a lot of feedback on that conversation. But I'm gonna tell you, I had that moment with it being a Women's History Month, which I have yet to talk about while we're on day 4 of March, but it's Women's History Month. But I thought about, how men who consistently are less qualified, in some cases don't have no qualifications, can get these jobs and get access and get promoted and be, elected. And women who frequently are more qualified, more experienced, better situated to lead, we can find all kinds of reasons not to move those people forward. I will not ever forget when you did a side-by-side comparison of the actual qualifications of Lena Taylor and Cavalier Johnson. When I tell you that you take that resume, an attorney, public defender, private practice lawyer, sat on the state's most powerful committee, joint finance, judiciary chair, all of just the different things up underneath this sister's name. And then at that time, Cavalier Johnson, who had never even chaired a committee at the Common Council. And people decided that someone with far less experience should get the job over a woman who had that kind of a resume. And some of it is personality, who I dislike. You are too much of a straight shooter. You're not diplomatic enough, whatever it was. And then you go back, and then we had these phone calls and people talking about, we need some fighters, but you had fighters and you chose something different. Jasmine Crockett has a brand and is notable because she has not rolled over and allowed these people connected to the Trump universe to walk over her constituents. But this cat, in terms of Tallarico, because policy-wise, they're fairly closely aligned. So this really was about style, electability, and race. It really was. It really was. And I had some Black folks from Texas that was texting me on heat with the Hispanic community because we getting sick of them. Because these white folks keep crapping on y'all, but y'all insist that y'all only way to the American dream is to attach yourself to people, and not talking about Tallarico specifically, but just in general. There are Black people that are falling back because they're you gotta be kidding me. This woman is already in Congress. If you watched her question people that come before them in committees, she know what she doing. But because somebody get up here and wave the Bible and, Jesus is love, do all of that, then, we're going to go with him because he's more palatable. And people wonder why you keep losing. Because you keep sending people in there that can't fight, that's not willing to fight. You want to win, but you don't never send a damn fighter. Think about that. You get in the race. Let's just say it's track. But you keep putting in people who can't get you to the finish line. You want to win, but you won't put in a fighter. You scared to put in the fighter. Oh, the fighter is going to be unattractive. But Republicans put in a whole jackass who is racially ignorant, who is sexually, in terms of sexism, ignorant, who says the most buffoonish things on the planet. And they all rally around him and put that cat in office. But on our side, we looking for somebody that fit this neat little box. So this cat weigh the Bible, and his delivery is X, Y, and Z. And that's who they went with. But I'm going to say this. Even if there was voter disenfranchisement, depending on when people were notified or alerted and what that notification looked like, we still have to show up. Lena loses because not enough of us show up. And the ones that do, we do other stuff. Marvin Pratt ran for office. People let Tom Barrett come in here, and people worked for Tom Barrett and got Tom Barrett elected, even though Marvin Pratt was highly qualified to be the mayor of Milwaukee. highly qualified. But black folks didn't show up for Marvin in that way. Many of them did, don't get me wrong. And then, white voters just do something totally different because people still can't see certain people in leadership roles. That's the same conversation we having right now about this governor's race. 2 African-American men, an Asian woman, what is it? 3 white women. And what do a lot of Democrats do? They got to go find a white man to run because they not comfortable with the women getting the job for show. And then you start talking about the racial and ethnic minorities. That's also problematic. That's why they keep saying we've only had 2 black people to ever win statewide race. So we're going to have that same conversation in Wisconsin. Same conversation. But people, look at black folks and we don't have no problem voting for whoever we think is the best candidate. And there are black people to be like, yeah, I'm riding with him because he's black. But most people will ride with somebody because they think they're the best candidate. And a lot of times it's not about, they got a better chance of getting elected. They go with genuinely who they believe is the better candidate and will get them, will fight for them. But it's disheartening that in 2026, we still doing this. And because of this current administration and, pulling back the onion, the layers of the onion of racism in this country so that people are once again rejuvenated, emboldened that we can use race to keep you out of the room. We can use race as a factor to disqualify you. I don't know that it gets better anytime soon. That don't mean you don't keep fighting. Somebody does break the code, but y'all, I'm watching people in this state, many of whom are white Democrats, who go get a white male to run because they just couldn't see none of these women or people of color running the state. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Michelle?
Yes.
Good morning. My name is Lynn, first-time caller, always listener. I just wanted to, I couldn't hear anything, but I wanted to put you up on some of the things that happened last night. The reason why they stopped counting those votes was because of Ken Paxton, who is the attorney, I think he's the attorney general, and he's also running in the Republican side. So that's why they stopped him from. He went to the Supreme Court in Texas, and they stopped counting the votes.
Right.
Yeah, he was the one who stopped it. And also there was issues with them not counting mail-in ballots in certain counties. Only 50% were being counted. It was a lot of things that was going on that was just weird in terms of this election because a lot of people did get their votes counted. A lot of counties weren't coming in. But Ken Paxton was the motivator behind stopping those votes. So they said they were going to sit on those votes. But they still had a problem trying to figure out where the cutoff was because they cut off at most polling places. They cut off at the end of the line. Well, there was no end of the line. So now they're trying to figure out where do we cut this off and what do we do with these votes? So that's kind of what I wanted to call and tell you that I put you up on because I watched most of it last night. It was ridiculous. It was just ridiculous. No,
and I definitely appreciate it. I knew that there was discrepancies about what constituted the end of the line in terms of, or like you said, where do we cut it off? So trying to figure out who was standing in that line by 7:01 p.m. When that time change, would have technically cut off. And that, yes, and I'm glad you mentioned Ken Paxton because I didn't say that. I just said the Supreme Court, but he is the motivator, behind it. But I'm gonna just tell you, not seeing anything from Tallarico about the voter disenfranchisement, I think is also going to be a red flag for people in the Black community. We'll see. Do you have an opinion on that? Did you hear?
Yes.
Did Tallarico say anything?
No, point blank. That was the part that I was like, Jasmine came out right away. He never showed. Maybe he showed late.
He showed late.
I watched it until maybe he did, but I watched until like 11.
Right.
And he didn't peek his head out. So I'm like, I don't understand. I know he's a great guy, but I feel like you feel. We don't need no more kumbaya. We need somebody that's gonna get up there and say, hey, we're not gonna get stepped on anymore. And I agree with you 110%. We don't need no more kumbaya. We don't need no more of that. We need some serious people that's gonna get up there and talk for us.
All right. Thank you, sis. I appreciate you, Lynn, for weighing in. Please call back anytime. I appreciate it.
All right, and I'm gonna need you to start working on Fridays, but that's another thing.
Oh, y'all be killing me throwing the bombs in here. Bye, Lynn.
Bye.
But so I gotta take a break. But I'm telling y'all, and if you understand some of these Black folks in Texas, Black folks in Dallas County, if the Democrats don't play this well, if Tallarico, who already, I don't know, has said enough about voter suppression and what potentially went on and some of the games and the shenanigans that get played, when I tell you Black people will sit back and let the Republicans win that Senate seat, maintain that Senate seat, mark my words. Watch what I'm telling you. The Democrats, and I know it's going to be a whole bunch of work and effort done to try to get Jasmine to stand with Tallarico and to be a good sport about this whole thing. And, they're going to try to lay blame squarely at the feet of the Republicans. But if Tallarico does not show up in a way that says, I believe something untoward may have happened, I'm going to work. He got to say something. His team got to do something. It just can't be celebrate, because they cannot win Texas without Black votes. I don't care what nobody say. They can. Houston and Dallas are primarily Black areas. They cannot win Texas without Black votes. I got to take a break. I'll be right back. All right, family, welcome back to the show. I told you that I had a guest coming into the studio this morning, none other than Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley. Before we get into our conversation, Wanda Montgomery hit me up this morning, and I just appreciate the reminder. I knew I was running up against the clock, but just for folks that are in the religious world, understand who Frederick Haynes is, Freddie Haynes, who Jesse Jackson had actually tapped at one time to be the next leader of the Rainbow Push organization. But after a shorter period of time, he wasn't able to continue in that role. He ended up running for Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett's congressional seat on the Democratic side of the aisle. And he was successful in emerging as the Democratic candidate for that race. So this is going to be something to keep our eye on, because some people are asking, so with Jasmine not winning, does that mean that it's a wrap for her now? It is. It is. And so she will appear in a different iteration, hopefully in public life. But yeah, this was an all or nothing situation for Congresswoman Crockett. Freddie Haynes is good though. So if he succeeds her in that seat, the district will still be well represented. But we know that Texas also played games to try to give Donald Trump 5 more congressional seats than he had previously. And so it's going to be a battle. So we'll keep our eye on Texas. But right now we got our own our own things we are paying attention to in Milwaukee County. So let me say good morning, County Executive. How you doing this morning, sir?
You know, every day is a good day. How are you doing?
Every day is a good day. Okay, every day is a good day. I'll go with that. It is good to see you. I saw you out and about during Black History Month.
Yeah.
I thought it was so apropos that we were able to get proclamations for Reverend Jackson, having his son Jonathan in town, Congressman Jonathan Jackson, and the timing was perfect. That people get to see the flowers, as folks say.
I mean, it was really important, and especially for me, right? Because people would ask, because I'm not even 40, but what do you know about Jesse Jackson? It's like, I know that I am somebody because of Jesse Jackson, right? And
Absolutely.
And when you think about I recognize the shoulders that I stand on every single day, right? And when you think about what Jesse Jackson brought to our society, brought to America, and uplifted Black people all across our country, it was important that we recognized him, and not just during Black History Month and giving him this recognition, but making sure as a county, right, Milwaukee County, we ordered our flags to be at half staff in honor of his memory. And I think it's important that we do that, because while he is a cornerstone of Black history, he is also a cornerstone of American history.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we talked about, and I won't spend much time there, but the folks over at Facts Over Feelings podcast said, "Hey, County Executive,
how y'all doing?"
They listening. But I think it was also pointed out his international impact, and they talked about when he would go into other countries, the work that was being done, and the reception that he received. Yeah. So he was beloved by a lot of people. So I appreciated it, and I just since I had you in the studio, I want to take a minute to say, the lowering of the flag, it just class act, and it was appreciated. But we got some work going on here.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
When you came in as county executive, you got a vision. But then after you get in and you see, you get to actually see it. Because it's one thing to talk about what I'm going to do from the outside looking in. And you get some insider, kind of like, this is where we are budgetarily. These are the concerns. These are the priorities. But then now having done it, being reelected, and, the vision becomes fuller. Yeah. There were things that you all have identified as a county that we either need to do, could do, or should do better, or in a different way, or more encompassing to be able to better aid our residents. Yeah. So this press release comes out. The Future State Project.
Yes.
And as I started reading, I was like, say what now? Because this is huge and ambitious, and an opportunity for the community to weigh in a way that we haven't seen before. Yeah. So let's back up and tell people how we get to the point of there even needing to be a conversation about a future state project, and why is that even the name of it?
I appreciate how you set this up, because let's start from the very beginning, right? Prior to my administration, recognize and remember, Milwaukee County were the first jurisdiction in the entire country to declare racism as a public health crisis. And so we did that in 2019. I get elected in 2020. We started working on our first strategic plan. How are we being intentional with who we're including being at the table? How are we bridging the gap, and how we're investing in equity? And we made sure to put these goals in place to guide all of our different departments. Well, as you start to put things in place, you start to realize there may be some internal barriers. There may be some challenges. And so the Future State Project is an opportunity for us to look at the policies, the procedures, our practices, and making sure that we are actually right-sizing our programs, our services to fit our extremely diverse communities' needs. Milwaukee County was not set up to serve our diverse community. When we think about race, when we think gender, when we think age, when we think religion, you name it, we weren't set up for those things. And so this is an opportunity for us to really revamp how we look in the future. How do we continue to focus on delivering the results?
Though, when you say you weren't set up for those things, because number one, I always get into a conversation about reminding people what the actual work of the county is, because many things that people complain about, I'm like, that's a city issue. That's a state issue. It's not county. But can you just give like at least one example of when you say we weren't set up for this? So at its inception, we anticipated service in this way, but because of changing demographics, changing circumstance, can you give an example of what you mean?
I can give you a great example. One, I think most recently could be like our eviction prevention program, right? We helped individuals get access to legal representation when they were facing evictions, being inside of a courtroom. Well, we realized that, one, we were helping people stay within their homes, helping landlords as well save more money, but this isn't the only time that people need representation, right? And so when you think about different civil cases that people may be coming up against with, related to civil cases, related to anything, how do we provide that representation, right? Even when we think about our grant opportunities, right? We have different departments, and they all had their own separate grant departments, in a sense, going after things. But when we were able to centralize that, we were able to actually leverage more of the partnerships that we have within Milwaukee County, leverage the relationships that we have within the community to actually strengthen our application and bring more resources back. And so for us, is recognizing that the status quo that we have had before, how we've operated, is not moving the needle fast enough, is not moving the needle far enough, and people are still falling through the cracks. And so when we can implement, for example, our no wrong door model of care, right? Making sure that if you're a veteran, you're receiving veteran services, that doesn't mean you should make another phone call, walk to another door to get housing access, to get mental health access. How do we now expand that broader than Health and Human Services now, to making sure that whenever you are walking into our doors, I don't care if it's a Milwaukee County park, you're getting access to the services and programs that we provide that can help move your life forward every single day.
All right. So then when we think about this whole concept, this Future State Project, where do you even begin to tackle this? I mean, did you bring in outside consultants?
Yeah.
Because while we got plenty of subject matter experts within, sometimes it's still hard to see your own house.
Correct.
So you got to.
Sometimes you got to bring in somebody to help clean up your house, because you may not know.
That too.
Right. You never want to be the one telling somebody what to clean up.
Right.
But if they're inviting you, it's a different thing. And so we worked with two consultants, actually. So we have Barry Dunn, which is a national consulting firm that helps out government streamline different programs and services and look at their organizational chart. But we've also worked with a local consultant as well in Cairo Communications, and they specialize in community outreach and as well as looking through a racial equity lens when it comes down to organizational structure as well. And so we started reaching out to Milwaukee County staff. We've reached out to department leaders. We've reached out to community leaders, community organizations. At least 1,000 folks have already been a part of this coming up with the current recommendations. But I want the community to know that we're going to be out there again, going and letting the community know what the recommendations are moving forward and asking them to also play a part, because we need to make sure that the community knows the direction that we're going in. We also want them to have ownership in what we're doing here within Milwaukee County to make sure that we're reaching our benchmarks and that we're being held accountable when it comes down to the goals that we're creating.
So for anybody that's listening, they're like, wait a minute. So you already got consultants on board. We are hearing about these community listening sessions. So it seems like y'all been at this for a while.
This is not work that just happens overnight. And so, yes, we have been at this for a while. It started with the strategic plan, but we continue to mold and shape what we're doing moving forward because we have to continue to strengthen
So
these
this
programs.
is almost a 2-year-old process.
You can say that, yeah.
Yeah, about 18 months or
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
Yeah, and
So-
still going.
Okay, so then, so I want to say that to be able to say, because in looking at the press release, it said that there were some draft recommendations
Yes.
that had already come out. So for some people, this is their first time hearing about it. So they're like, well, wait a minute, how we already got recommendations and I'm just learning about this. So to be able to help people understand that some of the ground and the foundational work had already been ongoing.
Absolutely.
So we are now at the recommendation phase.
We are at the recommendation phase, and we want folks to know that these are just that, recommendations. And so these aren't set in stone yet. We want to bring these to the community. So, for example, one of the recommendations is how do we take our no wrong door model of care and lay that over all of our service delivery options, right? Another part of this future state program is focusing on how do we go after dedicated funding, not just for public transit, but for childhood development, right? People may not know that we're the ones contracted with the federal government. We receive some dollars. We don't get fully funded, but we work with organizations on the ground to provide birth to 3 funding, and they help to find developmental and intellectual disabilities in young people and making sure that we can get parents access to services and programs at a very early age so they can make sure that that child is on par when it comes down to their development. Well, we need to make sure we're getting those types of funds. And so the recommendations that we're bringing to the community is for them to give us their thoughts on how we move forward. Should these be the recommendations? Should we be focusing on expanding, civil services to people who can't afford it, who may need these types of services to be represented? Should we be focusing on dedicated transit? Should we be focusing on increasing our operations and maintenance within our parks? Should we be thinking about streamlining our emergency management and our 911 services so costs don't drop and we can have a better service? These are the things that we're bringing to the table.
So 13 recommendations, what I see so far. And I mean, everything from youth in Milwaukee County are served by a housing first system that provides rapid, equitable access to safe, developmentally appropriate housing and supports. Like, how does this come into the conversation?
This is having real conversations. We're not trying to have surface level and just look at how we can just make quick tweaks to Milwaukee County government to save money. Our job is to invest upstream. Our job is to make sure
Help
that
people understand that term upstream.
So upstream is making sure that we can actually tackle the root causes versus trying to treat the symptoms, right? Because treating the symptoms doesn't allow us to stop a sickness, doesn't allow you to stop a cold. And so our job is to make sure that no one gets sick in the very first place. And so investing upstream is making sure that we can stop people from having to call the police in the first place because we're giving them access to the resources that they need so they never have to walk down a path of criminal activity. It's making sure that family members, individuals can have access to affordable housing because it's that much easier to think about your education, think about your own mental health, think about how you can go get a better job when you know where you're going to lay your head down at night. And so this is really about tackling the root causes and making sure that we become that healthy community, right? Health isn't just the mental and physical aspects of life. Money in your pocket is health. Housing is health. Strengthening our county transit system. This helps not just individualize individual success, but also make sure that we're investing in community success moving forward.
So then the community, I'm sure, is sitting back saying, okay, so I would like to see what these recommendations are. You guys are skimming the surface. So there is an opportunity for people to, number one, see the recommendations and then also to weigh in. But I also saw something about a survey.
Yes.
So if we have it, and you can tell me what's the point of that survey. So let's do the survey aspect of it first. What is the survey about?
So the survey is for the individuals who cannot actually attend the community sessions, but want to let their voice be heard. And so we have a survey right now. You can visit county.milwaukee.gov /future state project. You can go on that. You can go on that website. You can find out where all the community listening sessions are happening. But you can also fill out that survey to make sure that you are lending your voice to this particular project. And that survey is going to be open until, if I'm not mistaken, April 3rd. And so we're asking everybody within Milwaukee County, whether you live here, whether you work here, or whether you just come down here to enjoy all the festivities that we have going on, we want you to contribute to the success of our community by helping lend your voice to this project.
And you guys created a QR code, I believe.
There's a QR code,
so
absolutely.
What we'll do is work to see if we can get that added to our YouTube or social media outlets, so that it's posted up there for people to find out.
That would be great.
How to access it. But though there are some people like, no, I need to come to the meet. I want to look and see what these folks talking about because they need to hear from me. So for people that want to do listening sessions, I understand that one, in fact, just happened last night.
Yes. What happened last night, we were at the Franklin Public Library. We have one Wednesday, March 4th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. That's going to be at the Kosciuszko Community Center today. Tomorrow, Thursday, March 5th, 5 to 6:30, we'll be at the Brown Deer Public Library. On Monday, March 9th, 6 to 7:30, we'll be at the Washington Park Senior Center. On Wednesday, March 11th, 5 Points Neighborhood Association, Grace Fellowship Church, which is off of Port Washington Road. That's from 2 to 3:30 p.m. on next week, Wednesday. And then Thursday, March 12th, 5:30 to 7 p.m., we'll be at Thrive on King Neighborhood Hall. So please come down, let your voice be heard. We want people to have ownership and contribute to their lived experiences to this project.
But help folks with the timeline, though, because, we hear about this stuff all the time. Public, come weigh in, be engaged, be involved. But I know there, like you said, there may be a deadline that people can do the survey up until as late as April 3rd. But how soon are you hoping to begin to see implementation of the recommendation results and moving this whole thing forward?
So we've already started having some conversations and actually presenting this with the county board supervisors already. Okay. So once this is reached its final stage, our goal is to bring this in front of the county board and actually adopt this moving forward to help guide the decisions.
So are we talking about 2026 adoption?
There's a possibility of a 2026 adoption, but we know that in order to implement a lot of this, it's going to take a lot of work moving forward. So strengthening those partnerships with the private sector, strengthening the partnership with the state as well as the federal government, because we need to make sure that we also have the resources. But this helps to lay that marker, be a guiding light for where we're going to be moving forward as a county.
So here's a question, and this one is a little off brand, but it's one that I know other people are thinking, because we know that there's some things going on outside of the county that you have going on. Mm-hmm. And in terms of running for governor, this is an ambitious plan. And so, the first thing that people say is that, well, should he be successful in that bid for governor, what happens to this plan? Because is this his vision? Is this, are there people that are going to carry this forward? So for folks that I don't want to get all hyped thinking we about to do something.
Oh, absolutely.
And then,
that's honest. I get that.
So what's no matter what goes on with you politically, how does this play?
I want to be very clear.
Okay.
Everything that I have done within Milwaukee County government as county executive is to make sure that we embed all the policies, all the procedures directly into our ordinances to where it's going to continue to move forward. Our goals for Milwaukee County shouldn't change based off of who's county executive. We need to have our own shared goals as a community. And this is the reason why we're doing this, is to make sure that we have community buy-in as far as where we're moving, right? Because our goalposts cannot continuously, and we see this happening at the federal level. The goalpost is moving constantly. It's moving every single day, every minute.
Change your leadership, you change your vision, change your values.
And when you change the vision, you change the values, then you start to see investments dwindle. You start to see communities actually fall behind. But this is about making sure that when the tide rises, all the boats rise.
That's your,
so
that's your favorite line.
It is my favorite line because
that's your jam, right?
I know the cycle that I broke. I was able to break the cycle that I lived in, the cycle of poverty, cycle of seeing so many folks who have lost their lives or lost their lifestyle because of drug addiction or mental health and things of that nature. And so for me, it's about how do we put systems in place to make sure that we are providing everybody, no matter their circumstances, the best route to success.
Let me do this because I know we got some time constraints. But I do want to ask a question because I heard the word streamlining in there. Anytime people talk about a strategic plan, right sizing, right fitting, people hear the word streamline, get a little nervous because people like, could somebody potentially lose jobs because we figure out that, we could be more efficient this way. So what does this plan do in terms of employment?
Nothing changes related to employment, right? Matter of fact, I would say that this gives us an opportunity to strengthen people's opportunity to focus on, their particular lane. But it also gives our change makers, our employees within Milwaukee County, greater access to the service and programs that we have. And so we need to make sure that when you walk into, for example, you're getting your birth certificate or you're getting a death certificate, you're getting a marriage certificate, and you need access to other services. Who's to say that that person is cross-trained to even know what's going on throughout all the different departments and service lines that we deliver? We want to make sure that everybody knows that no matter what door that they're walking through within Milwaukee County, you're going to get access to all of the services that you need. Because if you have to make multiple phone calls, if you have to walk through multiple doors, there's a possibility that you may get discouraged and that you may fall through the gap. And that becomes more expensive for all of us as taxpayers.
All right. Well, some people were saying, Michelle, can you give an idea of some of the areas of focus? And I know when I looked at the executive summary, like I said, I'm not sure if all these end up being the recommendation areas, but governance coordination, health behavioral services, housing stability, homelessness, which you alluded to, youth and aging, transportation, public infrastructure, parks, community engagement, equity, justice system, and public safety. So there are an array of areas that are being covered. This is the thing we say so often to people, what you think about it after the decisions have been made becomes moot because now it's rolling. So get in on the front end of this thing to be able to impact outcomes. But there are folks that are also concerned because they're talking about monetarily, what does this cost us? Because we are looking at Milwaukee Public Schools, say, hey, we $46 million in the hole. The city, Chevy forever got his toes right on the cliff. Somebody every minute, somebody gonna push me over, or we're not gonna be able to make these bills and make these payments. So when you look at a plan that's ambitious like this, is there a financial price tag that potentially goes with these recommendations and implementation?
There is a potential of that, but I want to be very clear. When we can invest more money upstream, we save a lot more money downstream. And so if I have the opportunity to help people find employment, find housing, get the mental health care that they need, it helps us to save money from going into our emergency rooms, from going into our jails, from going into, utilizing, things that they shouldn't be utilizing in order to get their care. And a great example of that is housing, right? The money that we've put into housing, we've saved $30 million in mental health.
But I just want to be clear though, bro. I want to make sure because we agree that you invest and,
absolutely.
being proactive.
Absolutely.
The question is, do we have any money to invest? Where does the dollars come from? Is this about better utilization of what we currently have? That's scaring people.
But we can't say, I can't say where those dollars are going to be spent yet because this isn't the final project.
I get that,
right now, right?
But we know some of this is going to come with a price tag.
Well, everything comes with a price tag.
so
everything, because
before we go shopping,
it's either going to cost you nothing.
I just want to know
it's going to cost you a little.
I want to know what's in the bank account before I go shopping, bro. That's all I'm saying. Don't tell me, Michelle, I'm taking you on a shopping spree, and then I get out here and I be like, I want that, I want this, I want this, I want this, and you like, hey, babe, we got $500.
Well, first and foremost, we don't know what the dollars are. We don't know. This may not cost us anything, right? It may not cost us anything because we don't know what the community wants as far as these recommendations.
But in looking at the recommendations that you've
seen, looking at the recommendations that we have seen, there are things that will cost us, but we will save a lot more money down the line, long term. But there's also some things that doesn't cost us anything.
Okay. That's fair.
There's some things, and so like
I'm
never going to put out there.
Come down here
I'm not going to sit there and say, "Oh, this is not going to cost us anything." I would never go out there and do that. But I want to be very clear that there's an opportunity. There's a possibility that this may not actually cost us anything. And when it comes down to the finances within Milwaukee County, we're in the best financial position that we've ever been. I mean, yes, earlier during the summer we were talking about the $41 million deficit. We actually ended with a surplus this past 2025.
I did see that. But it always, and that's the high and the low that we go through as residents and constituents.
And we'll be talking about that,
this
right?
Month
because
we're feeling good. And you got a county.
We have our state of the county coming up.
When is that?
The 19th, I believe.
Can the public? Is that open 19th? To the public?
Yeah. Yes, we're going to have information out there. People can sign up. They can RSVP. They can stream online or just come on down. It's going to be at Potawatomi.
Is yours at Potawatomi?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I saw one a press release about because I know the cities is coming up as well.
Yeah.
But yours was at Potawatomi.
Potawatomi.
All right. Well, look, bro.
And just FYI, the surpluses that we've had in Martin County,
yes,
they've all happened under this administration.
I ain't saying, but I'm just saying. I ain't call no names, but I'm just saying. You might want to pay attention to who's guiding the ship right now. No, I think it's relevant as we talk about what it takes to turn the ship around, what it takes to make sure that we stay afloat, or that these, what's your line? All tides.
Rising tide lifts all boats.
Okay, so to make sure that everybody is reaching full potential, that you got to have somebody with some vision who, and I love it and appreciate the piece about putting in, I won't necessarily call them safeguards, but putting things in place that these things continue.
Yeah.
So even as leadership changes, different folks come in, that there is a degree of agreement that these are the things that the community has identified, in addition to what we've done, are important. And we're going to make sure that those things stay in place.
Absolutely.
So,
and that relationship with the Milwaukee County Board of Supervisors is vital to that.
Well,
and I'm glad that we have that great relationship.
Well, we will keep posted. I'll make sure that I announce these all throughout the course of the week to make sure that folks are engaged. And look, y'all, I tell y'all all the time, don't complain about it if you're not willing to be a part of the conversation. This right now is the conversation. Nobody's asking you have no money on it. We ain't asking you to spend $1. Show up. Even if you can't, we'll get that QR code so that you can take the survey to be able to weigh in that way. But it is not enough just to complain. You have to help people figure out how to navigate what we need. I used to tell people in my family all the time, you mad at me, but I don't know what you need.
Mm-hmm.
They just sitting there like, but you got it. Yeah, but I'm not just out here spending it willy-nilly. What is it that you need? And then let's figure out how to make it happen. So the county has come and said, we want to hear from the community. We want you to weigh in. We got to talk about the best, most efficient way to serve our residents. And then this is one step. So to you and your team, Jonathan is always on top of it. Like, calling me last night, Michelle, do you have everything? Jonathan, don't call me no more, man. So yes, I appreciate though that you guys are very intentional about your engagement and continued engagement with this listening audience. It's appreciated, bro.
No, I appreciate you. Appreciate the work that you and this radio station have been doing for decades. And I'm just glad that you're still here.
Sound like you call me real old. Like decades.
I said the radio station for decades.
Look here, bro.
Well, it's been a while now.
Yeah. Oh, you gonna dig in? You gonna just like throw another shot? You know what? We going to break.
We can have fun.
We going to break so I can tap this young brother. Because I keep telling him.
Oh man, really?
He think because he come in here all suited and booted with his little cute glasses on, there's gonna be some preferential treatment. He can get it too.
I know I'm not getting any preferential treatment.
He can get it too. And he be leaning on though. I'm handsome, right? Michelle.
I don't mean nothing.
You know I'm handsome, right? And he think he won't catch it. Let me go to break so I can swell his head. All right, y'all. None other than county executive. Now we throwing out the little because he know as soon as we go to break, he gonna be in the headlock. So you clapping for him?
It's going down.
Wait, we got what was it? Mike Tyson and what was our boy Jay Paul?
Tyson biting his glove.
Look, and it is gonna be aired. It is gonna be aired. Jonathan like, come on now, Michelle. We got to get to another meeting. Don't mess up his suit.
I'm just like, how much money she got on?
Don't mess up his suit, Michelle. We got another meeting we got to go to. All right, folks. So I'll make sure I repeat this, but the community listen sessions, that's the biggest takeaway. We'll make sure you guys have what you need to be engaged. All right, we're taking a break. He getting ready to get put in the headlock. We'll be right back. All right, y'all can stop texting me. Didn't nobody do nothing to David Crowley? Sick of y'all. To hurt that boy before that election. Um, and, and I was messing with him because when he was inside the studio, his security detail is in the building. And I'm like, and David just opened the door, get ready to walk out. I was like, oh, you walk out in front of your security? I know security outside. And so I met the new brother on the team. Like, okay. There's, I might think about Carolyn. I was like, oh, okay. It's security outside. So yeah, y'all can stop texting me. Didn't nobody do nothing to David Crowley. And it'd always be like, grandmas, don't mess with that boy. We ain't do nothing to him.
Let him alone.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
that boy
they
alone.
get on my nerves. Don't mess with him. He got stuff to do now. But I do want to say that I hate that I missed this before he got out of here. And I want to thank one of our listeners for sending it to me. So Dallas, Texas has also been a county and community engaged in, and we talked about Dallas earlier in terms of Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, but they have been really successful in reducing what they have called their downtown homelessness by utilizing what they called a housing first model that moved over 270 people from homelessness into permanent housing. But there is something that the White House is doing, the federal administration is doing, that they are proposing rule changes that would prioritize emergency shelters over long-term housing, threatening $51 million in annual grants, and could reverse this progress. So just think about that for a second, because that could impact Milwaukee. And so the listener who sent it, and thank you, Ebony, for sending it to me, I catch Crowley on the way out the door, like, are you aware of this? He was like, already on it, already have been talking to legislators about it. This is what could happen to Milwaukee. And it literally could reverse the work that we've been doing or impact the work that we're doing. So I'm going to prioritize emergency shelters over long-term housing. First of all, we got the means in this country to do both. If you look at the kind of monies that we are spending in all these ridiculous wars around the world, and we got money to give ICE the most expansive budget of any federal agency that we have ever seen. Like, we got the money to do things. What do people say all the time? Your budget reflects your priorities. So we have dollars, but in this case, we're being told focus on one thing, emergency shelters versus over long-term housing. The first thing I'm always going to do is follow the money. I promise you. Because first of all, Donald Trump don't care about homelessness. He don't care about it. Does not care about it. So who's driving policy that has his ear that says we want to prioritize the emergency shelters over long-term housing? I'm going to be looking for the financial aspect of that question. Where's the money at? Who owns what? Who's tied into what? Is there any kind of profit margin at all in any of these conversations? I promise you, I want to understand that piece of it. So thank you so much. Again, Ebony, for sending that to me, because in Dallas, in coordination with this, they were getting people out of these encampments that we were seeing. We have our own little mini tent city right here in Milwaukee. I told you I rolled up on it. I wasn't familiar with the area, and I was like, what is this? Had no idea what was going on. They were able to clear those out and not just move people like we did during the political conventions out of sight. Just, I don't care where you go, but you got to leave here. They were able to get these people into housing. But if they shift this funding towards short-term solutions rather than long-term solutions, then we're going to have a problem. And one of the things that they said in Dallas, in addition to this $51 million that they say could be jeopardized, that would lead to roughly 420 veterans becoming homeless annually and the loss of rental aid for 400 landlords. So you got business owners in terms of landlords and the actual occupants, in this case, 420 veterans that could lose their housing, stability and be potentially back out on the streets. Um, so just to make note of that, it's so much to be learned and gained. And that's why when Wanda reminded me that, to make sure I paid attention to what happened in Jasmine Crockett's seat in terms of Freddie Haynes Reverend Freddie Haynes, getting that, walking away with the nomination, and now getting ready to go into the general election, it's a big deal, because somebody that is going to not just be a faith leader, but be somebody that's going to fight, and that's going to be able to you think about what Ralph Warnock has done. And I'm sorry, I said what's his name? Raphael Warnock out of Georgia, what he has been able to do and come in and effectively represent the constituency. People worried about whether or not he'd be able to do that. But you bring multiple things in addition to your faith. You bring the ability to understand these systems and know how to navigate. Now, what Freddie Haynes will look like in this role is, because I don't think he has any other political background, although a lot of people that run for office don't necessarily have that, but they've been involved in a number of other ways that those skills are transferable and they can help them be successful. But just so we know, Jasmine Crockett did endorse Pastor Haynes, and I think he is her pastor. And he is out of Dallas. I'm just trying to look and see what other information real quick. So he's getting ready to go into the runoff, though. And he ended up with 75% of the votes of the 61% of the precincts that had reported as of when this story was written about 9 hours ago. So he had a commanding win, it looks like, in terms of that race. And oh yeah, oh please, yeah, he clown. Because I'm looking at the final numbers. He had 72% of the vote. The next person closest to him had 23%, and then somebody else had 4.4%. So that is going to be an interesting race. On the Republican side of things, there is somebody named Everett Jackson. I'm assuming that's a brother. That is running for that seat. He got 38% of the vote. And so they have to go into a runoff because no one secured more than 50% of the vote on that side. So they'll be at it again mid-May to do the runoff. So these are races that some people are like, well, why are we giving such a heavy focus to Dallas? Because quite frankly, we're impacted. When I was paying attention to our Senate race, I was also paying attention to Georgia. I understood what was happening around the country, and we have to be able to have a broader lens by which we look through these things. Somebody said there's usually a tent city located on Valise Street between 13th and 14th Streets across from the old Cogs building. They are not there now, but it will return. Hang on. When the weather breaks. Like I said, I've seen them. I've been blown away by them. I'm like, well, what's happening? We got some callers on the phone. Let's go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to comment on the tent city deal. A lot of you were talking about the permanent housing and the temporary housing. In a lot of cases, once they've been moved into shelter, maybe short term, once they've stayed there for a year, a lot of times those individuals qualify for a Section 8 grant. But the thing is they must maintain that 1 year stability, because you got a lot of people that will go to those places, and then about summertime or so, they gone back outside no matter what. We've seen Barrett, or was that Norquist, went under the bridge on 30 on 27th Street Bridge. Now that was a serious city down there. They had generators and everything.
Right.
And they moved them all out of there and put them in, gave them all houses, put them in West Lawn, South Lawn, Berry World, whatever, Berryland. And if those people were able to maintain the residence for 1 year, they qualified for a Section 8 grant. And then at that point, once you get that grant, you can go anywhere in America under the United States government and live with that Section 8 grant. So, when you say temporary, let's look at it for what it's worth. That temporary might be 1 year, and then once you complete that, they usually move you on with the permanent grant. So that's just something I wanted to throw out there. Oh, your girl Crockett, she didn't make it, huh? What? How much did she get out there? What was her percentage on the race? I couldn't hear you say
47%.
40%. She put a fight in. It's just my boy that called in yesterday really hot. He's challenged me. We talked over the phone, so I'm gonna come to the show and I want to lay out some things, and then I can better express myself when I said what I said about Miss Crockett. But she ain't the only one that's pulling this. It's a lot of young ladies that have adopted this whole culture, and they want people like me
adopted
to
this what?
Whole culture.
Did you say hoe?
No, I didn't say hoe. I said the proper way. Whore. There's nothing wrong with that.
So you said Jasmine Crockett has adopted a whore culture?
Can I explain before you jump all over me?
No, I just wanted to make sure, first of all, I had the terminology correct. So that is what you said, that Jasmine Crockett has adopted a whore culture. Please continue.
Okay. What I mean by that is that regular women that are regular women have adopted this attitude and this look that they think that the worldly woman, the lady of leisure, carries and conduct herself that way. So when she's in the presence of gentlemen or just men, period, she's about it. She's about that money. She's about that life. So what they do is they adorn themselves with eyelashes, long fingernails, blonde hair, the whole look. But in reality, they ain't gonna bust a grape at a fruit fight. And then the girls that's really about that life, they dress up like naughty librarians. They don't even want to embrace. They don't even want to let you know or embrace the lifestyle that they live. So they look like regular women. They'll tell you, I'm a CNA.
So you're saying that Jasmine Crockett looks like a whore?
No, I said she's
because if you're saying she adopted
she's adorned herself. See what
so she put on some eyelashes and she will wear hair extensions. What are you talking about? Because she's dressed professionally every time you see her. She's not out here in booty shorts and crop tops. So outside of some eyelashes, and I just want to be clear, fake eyelashes have been around since 19. Hang on. Fake eyelashes have been around since 1911. 1911. Invented by a woman by the name of Anna Taylor. 1911. That's number one. In terms of hair extensions, people been wearing hair extensions since the beginning of freaking time.
No, who wore those lashes?
But again, I just can't believe the ease at which you are willing to label a educated, intelligent black woman as someone who has adopted a horse culture because of some freaking eyelashes and some hair.
Listen, no,
you know what? So I gotta go. I'm up against the clock.
I know you do.
No, it ain't like I'm running. Don't play that game. You can always call back in the morning.
No, I know you do.
Yeah, okay. Have your 5 seconds.
It's a conversation that's plaguing our community.
Again, you already know how the show goes. So I'm up against the clock. I gotta go.
Don't represent it. Don't represent it.
Thank you. Y'all, the stuff that people feel comfortable to be able to say. So some long eyelashes and some hair extensions make you somebody who has adopted a whore culture. You keep trying to figure out, like, when do we as a people get better? When do we do better? When do we stop doing things that are self-inflicted wounds? And you have somebody, but it's been since the beginning of time. We've had court gestures, we've had fools of every flavor. But I'm telling you, it just land differently sometimes when it's your own folks that spread ignorance. Because there have been many white people on the right in Republican circles who have tried to call Jasmine Crockett a whore or a hoe because they want to make her into some stereotype of what they've said about Black women. And here we are in Women's History Month in 2026, and we got a Black man calling a Black radio station to say that this educated attorney who has been elected to Congress, who, if you listen to her articulate her points, you understand that this woman knows what she's talking about. But I get reduced to nothing but a sexual stereotype that white people perpetrated. They had to do something to make people feel better about themselves. So we elevate white women to this ideal of perfection. And if you don't look or act like them when you walk into a room, not even that all white women act like this fake ideal, then people are something else. I'm gonna just say it's a sickness. I'm leaving. Self-hatred is a sickness. That's the show. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.